A recent mass shooting happened at a Christian school in Nashville. 6 people, 3 young children, and 3 school staffers were killed in March in that tragedy that rocked the city. The 3 Catholic bishops of Tennessee joined together with more than 100 other religious leaders in the state to ask for common sense changes to Tennessee gun laws. Governor Bill Lee is planning to call the General Assembly into special session in August to consider tougher gun restrictions. Immediately after the shooting, he signed an executive order to strengthen background checks. We're joined now by one of those bishops, Bishop Mark Spalding of the Nashville Diocese. He was a signatory to a letter calling on Governor Lee and the legislature to enact tighter gun restrictions. Thank you for joining us today. We understand that this school shooting in Nashville, which was followed just 2 weeks later by a mass shooting that killed 5 at a bank in Louisville, Kentucky, felt very personal to you. Tell us about that.
Well, it was personal because both here in Nashville and back home in Louisville, where I grew up, people that were involved in the shooting, I had some connection through the parishes. Here we had a worker in one of our parishes that her grandchild was in the shooting and was killed. And back in Louisville, a parishioner was in the former parish that I was pastor. He was killed in that situation. So it touched close to the heart, and so it's very near and dear to me.
Well, we're very sorry for your loss. As a Catholic bishop then, as a man of God dedicated to the culture of life, what kind of challenges do you and the other bishops feel you have with secular policymakers when it comes to advocating for an end to gun violence?
Well, I think we see it in every discussion that's out there. There's extremes involved, and we would hope that there can be some kind of moderate, determined voice in the middle. And so that's where we're coming from. We are looking to the best of our ability to bring forth a legislation, with the governor being the leader on this project, to really give common sense laws around these issues and to help as best we can in this endeavor.
It sounds like a voice in the middle is kind of challenging when you serve in Tennessee, a culturally conservative state with a deep commitment to Second Amendment rights. What range of reactions do you get from parishioners in your diocese when you bring up the issue of common sense gun measures?
Well, as you can imagine, there's people all along the spectrum, but those who are on the edges, either one, were saying not enough, or two were saying too much. But we do try to hold that middle course, and I think we're being received overwhelmingly positively, but we do get our voices that go after us on either side of the extremes.
And on this issue that divides so many in our country, what is that solution that you're proposing, that you're fighting for?
Well, it's the governor's measure, as you mentioned in the lead up, and his effort is to truly look at the mental health of people with that may be going through a challenge, and to have some process or procedure in which a loved one, whether that be a parent, a spouse, a child, anyone, a good friend, that could see that that person is in a difficult situation in their life where they're not in a good place, and that if they have a tendency to suicide or hurting others, that a process could be done where for a while those guns could be taken away, and that until that person is in a much better place that would be safe for themselves and for others.
So a mental health approach to these laws. Bishop Spalding, for a lot of Americans, this is a moment, yes, of deep division, but also of mistrust of institutions and their government. What pastoral words do you have for them as they consider both the Second Amendment as a protective measure, but also the value of these very important lives that are lost?
Well, let's look at the Declaration of Independence, the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And our church has been very much at the forefront of all of those rights that we hold near and dear. And the pro-life movement, of which our church has been a part of, yes, we do have concerns with institutions out there, but we've made a dedicated effort to put forward pro-life arguments to protect our children from womb to tomb, and we need to continue to do that and make that known throughout all of our ministries.
Have you found common cause with bishops around the country?
Very much so. The signatures that we put on the bottom of that letter to the governor was mine, was the Bishop of Knoxville and the Bishop of Memphis, and we're united in this as well around the country. But it's going to be a long haul to make sure change takes place to protect children, especially from the violence of guns.
Well, we'll be praying for your efforts and also for those who are very fearful in those moments. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much as well.